Welcome back, friends. In today's session we are going to continue with the physical chemistry, and in today's session we are going to discuss about the external structure of the earth. In the previous session we discussed about the internal structure of the earth, and if you remember we ended up by discussing this diagram which explained different zones of the earth. So today we are going to continue with the external structure of the earth. Let's see what is making the earth externally. Nini ambacho kinatengeneza earth kwa nje. Kama nilivyosema mwanzo kwamba sisi tuko outside of the earth, where we are human being and all living organism, we are outside of the earth. So one among the things which we discuss in the outside or external structure of the earth is about the biosphere. Biosphere, where the living organism they are living. So living organism wanaishi kwenye sehemu panapoitwa biosphere. Bio means living and sphere means space. Now the external structure of the earth consists of four main layers. These are atmosphere, hydrosphere, lithosphere or landmass, biosphere, and biosphere. So it is made up of the four layers, or the main four layers: atmosphere, hydrosphere, lithosphere, and biosphere. Now let's see what the composition of every layer and what is making every layer and what the significance or importance of every layer. Let's start with atmosphere. Atmosphere is the thin layer of gases held on the Earth's gravitational attraction. It is composed by abiotic, that means non-living matter, and biotic, living organism. Non-living matter found in the atmosphere include a mixture of gases, water vapor, and dust particles. The living organism include smallest or microscopic organism like bacteria. So kwenye atmosphere yenyewe kwanza ni thin layer, na pia imekuwa composed of gases. Imekuwa held by gravitational force, because we know gravitational force pull all the things towards the center of the earth. That means the gravitational force on the atmosphere pull the air towards the surface of the earth. So the atmosphere is the first layer. Ukitoka to the surface of the earth, the first layer is atmosphere. And it is composed of non-living as well as living organisms. Non-living organisms tuna a mixture of different gases such as oxygen, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, ammonia, and things like that. And we have water vapor, ambayo ni mvuke, also dust particles. Ili vumbi lote tunaloona, it is present in the atmosphere layer. Na pia tunao living organism, more especially here we're talking of the bacteria. Different bacteria and viruses, they are present in air. That's why even in the cases of coronavirus, we are told to wear face masks because of the presence of COVID-19 bacteria or virions. I mean, it's not bacteria, it is a virus. COVID-19 virus in the air. Now, composition of atmosphere. Atmosphere is the outer zone or external structure of the earth, composed of abiotic and abiotic component. Now, about composition of atmosphere, it is made up of abiotic component of atmosphere and biotic. Starting with abiotic. Abiotic, that means non-living organisms. What are the non-living organisms present in the atmosphere? The abiotic component of atmosphere include the following: mixture of various gases. This include nitrogen, as we said. It is 78% of our atmosphere, nitrogen. Then 21% is oxygen. Argon is 0.009%, and carbon dioxide is 0.03%. So as you can see, mainly the atmosphere is made up of nitrogen. Gases like carbon dioxide and argon, they are very small in percentage in the atmosphere. Other gases include neon, helium, krypton, xenon, and other which are present in minute or small proportion. When you are saying about minute, that means very small proportion, almost negligible. Small proportion or small percentages which are almost negligible. Negligible, that means unaweza kama ukazipuuzia. You can neglect, unaweza kupuuza, ukazipotezea. That is because they are in very small concentration. Water vapor is colorless and odorless, smellless. Odorless, that means it doesn't have smell. Gas in the form of water, which makes up a perfect mixture with other gases. So water vapor, we can't have the percentage of water vapor is itself, because it tends to mix with the other gases which are present in the atmosphere. So hatuna percentage ya water vapor peke yake. Now look at the percentage of carbon dioxide, which is 0.03. This percentage is very small. That's why sometimes in crop production we suggest using greenhouse. Why? It is because greenhouse tend to do greenhouse effect, and due to greenhouse effect there will be accumulation of carbon dioxide gas that will lead to increase in the production of plant, more especially plants like tomatoes. They increase their production if we increase the concentration of carbon dioxide supply to them. Now let's continue with the degree to which water vapor is present in the atmosphere is called humidity. Humidity ni kama kiwango cha unyevu kwenye air. Now unaweza kuwa unaona kwamba ni some of the environment or in some of the areas, especially areas with cold environment, kwa mfano maeneo ya Njombe. Sometimes in a cold region or in a winter season, you can wake up in the morning and then if you're looking at outside, you can see there is very high humidity. Kuna ukungu. Kwa ule ukungu umetengeneza kabisa cloudiness, ukungu kabisa, hata barabara gari zikipita zinawasha taa. That is what you can say, that the high percentage of humidity imeenda kuform cloudiness au imeenda kuform fogs. Kwa hiyo ni humidity na kwa iko kubwa, lakini in case humidity inakuwa ndogo, that means air inakuwa clear. Lakini air inapokuwa na ukungu, that means the percentage of humidity has increased. Now we are saying that humidity is very important to weather as condensed to form clouds and fog. Humidity is very important to weather as it condenses to form clouds and fog. So humidity, ule unyevu, ule ukungu, unaweza kwa condense, kufanya condensation reaction, then by condensation reaction utaenda kuform, lose energy, and then utaenda kuform clouds and fog. Now excess water vapor brings about precipitation in the form of rain, hail, snow and sleet. These are different forms in which excess water vapor kwenye atmosphere inapelekea precipitation. Kwa precipitation inaweza kaja kama mvua, hail, snow yani unakuta kama vipande vya barafu vinaanguka, and sleet. Especially if huwa vinatokea, snow huwa zinatokea kwenye countries with very low temperature, more especially in countries of Europe. Lakini for us in Africa, huwezi kukuta kwa mfano in Tanzania we have snows. It is impossible. Why? It is because of the temperature of the country, the normal temperature of the country. Now we are saying that water vapor is capable for absorbing heat, which penetrates into atmosphere in the form of radiant energy from the sun to the earth. It is also act as a blanket which prevents the rapid escape of heat from the earth's surface and therefore maintain heat budget. And also we have the dust particles in the atmosphere. So the discussion about the water vapor and dust particles is in this way. Now the dust particles may expose to atmosphere naturally or artificially. As we know, naturally we have wind and things like that which tend to produce different dust, and due to the production of those dusty inakuwa ni vumbi tu ambalo liko kwenye air. Now natural dust particles are those caused by natural phenomena like winds and volcanic eruption. Natural dust particles, upepo umevuma, kimbunga imevuma, unapelekea natural dust particles. Lakini artificial dust particles ni zile ambazo zinatokana na industrial pollutions. As we know, some of the industries producing cements and other industry producing bricks and things like that. So they are using stones, so they are breaking up stones, and they are making them in a powder form. So due to the breaking up of the stones and making them in powder form, that means you are producing the artificial dust such as soot and ashes. Soot in motion, ashes, majivu, including the particles caused by other man's activities like construction. If you are doing construction, you are building a certain building, unajenga jengo fulani, unaweza kupelekea vumbi liongezeke. Then if you are doing mining, kuchimba madini, farming activity, unapolima, una increase the amount of dust in the atmosphere. That is what you call the artificial dust particles. The function of dust particles serves as a nuclear or center around which water vapor condenses to produce clouds. So the dust particles is where the water vapor tend to condense to produce the cloud. Now let's continue with the biota or biotic component of the atmosphere. Biotic component of the atmosphere include bacteria, especially bacteria and virus. Different microorganisms such as fungus, they can also be present in the biotic component of atmosphere. Now let's see about the structure of the atmosphere, how the atmosphere is made. Now, according to the temperature changes, atmosphere is divided into zones. These are homosphere and heterosphere. Homosphere and heterosphere. Now, homosphere is the layer which is found between 0 and 80 km above the sea level. 0 and 80 km above sea level. This is the lowest part of atmosphere, which is composed of uniform composition of gases and the temperature. So these are composed of uniform composition of gases. This sentence, it is repeated. So it is composed of uniform composition of gases and the temperature. Homosphere consists of 3 layers. Now, homosphere, the name homo means the same. So there is uniform composition of gases and also temperature. That's why it is called as homosphere. Now, homosphere is divided into 3 layers. The first is troposphere. So this layer extends 0 to 15 km above sea level. 0 to 15 km above sea level. Kama tulivyosema, homosphere in extend from 0 to 80 km. So from 0 to 15 km it is troposphere, above sea level. Now sometimes these questions, they can bring you in matching items. They can bring you a layer and then they can give you the dimension that are troposphere. Then they can give you in matching items ku match column A with column B. Then in column B they can give you the dimensions or the height from sea level. So you must know them. You must know the height from sea level. Now troposphere is the first layer of homosphere located nearest the earth. Na hiyo ndio layer ambayo hata human being and living organism ambao tunaishi kwenye earth surface tunakuwa tuko kwenye nini? Kwenye troposphere. Now it contains water vapor, gases and dust particles. It is the layer of atmosphere which support life on earth due to the presence of plenty oxygen gases. So troposphere ndio layer ambayo sisi tunaishi. It supports life due to the presence of plenty of oxygen. Plenty, that means high amount, oxygen iko ya kutosha. Now all processes of rain formation takes place in this layer, and the temperature decreases as altitude increases at the rate of 100 per meter or per every F1 meters. 100 per meter or per every F1 meters. So unaweza kuona kwamba troposphere yenyewe features zake ni kwamba as we are moving from sea level, we are going up. Unaona troposphere iko from 0 to 15 km troposphere. So as we are moving from sea level, which is 0, we are going upward. The temperature tend to decrease. Temperature decreases with altitude. That is the nature of our troposphere, how it is. We shall see at other layers, and then we shall see what is the nature of these layers, or what are they doing in different conditions. Now we are saying that, note, this situation whereby temperature decreases as altitude increases is called lapse rate. And because it occurs near to the ground, it is called environmental lapse rate. That means temperature and change as the environment changes. Now your environment and change with altitude. That means if you are going up from the sea level, then the temperature changes. Or as we are going from sea, as you are coming from up to down or to the sea level, the temperature tend to increase. Now the upper limit of troposphere, which separates it to the next layer, is called tropopause. Tropopause makes the upper limit of troposphere to the next layer is called stratosphere. So the first layer is troposphere, and we have tropopause. Then we are moving to stratosphere. Now stratosphere exists between 15 to 48 kilometer. 15 to 48 kilometer. That means it is in between, above sea level. This is the second layer of homosphere, which lies above tropopause. That means from troposphere, then you have tropopause, then stratosphere. Now it is also composed of water vapor, dust particles and various gases. Composed of water vapor, dust particles and various gases. It is the layer of atmosphere which is characterized by high concentration of ozonic gases. So these gases form the ozone layer, which is found particularly at 20 to 38 km in stratosphere. So the ozone layer, as you can see, as I told you, sometimes these questions they can bring you in matching items. So maybe you are told in column A ozone layer, and then in column B you are told 10 to 35 kilometer, or maybe you are told stratosphere, then 15 to 48 kilometer. You must know about the solving of these questions. You must know about the location of these layers. So the ozone layer is present in stratosphere. Sometimes you can be given a question in even MCQ that ozone layer is located in A, troposphere, B, tropopause, C, stratosphere, and things like that. So you must be able, or you must know it exactly. Now, as we know the function of ozone layer, the ozone layer tends to protect the earth with the radiation from the sun. Now we are saying that the ozone sphere, ozonosphere, or ozone layer, ozonosphere or ozone layer is the layer which form a shield or cover that prevent the earth's surface from destroyed or from being destroyed by the sun rays. So we living organism, we are living safe in the earth because of the presence of the ozone layer. So the ozone layer tend to protect the earth with the extent of harmful radiation from the sun. That's why we are saying that the effect of global warming can distract the ozone layer, and thus due to the destruction of ozone layer, that can lead to different problems such as the cancers of skin and things like that. So even though ambavyo vitu vipo, ozone layer inact as a blanket, a cover, a blanket. Kwa hiyo inakuwa kama inafunika dunia, inakuwa kama blanket inafunika dunia. Is part dangerous right rays from the sun. So it prevents direct incoming of harmful rays from the sun to fall directly on the earth's surface. So the ozone layer tend to decrease the magnitude or the extent of harmful of the sunlight rays. So the temperature remains unchanged about between 20 to 35 kilometers from the earth's surface. Then temperature increases with heat to about the upper limit of stratosphere called the stratopause. The increase in temperature with heat is referred to as temperature inversion. So unaweza kuona kwamba phenomena ina change. Kwenye troposphere tulikuwa tuna decrease temperature with heat, tuna decrease temperature with heat, na tuliita kama environmental rupture rate, au tuliita kama rupture rate, and because it occurs near the ground it is called environmental rupture rate. That means as we are going up, or as we are moving away from the sea level, the temperature tend to decrease. But in stratosphere things are different. When we are moving from 20 to 35 kilometers, the temperature remains about the same. But when you are moving from 35 kilometers to stratopause, that is where the boundary of stratosphere, the temperature tend to increase. And this phenomena is called as temperature inversion. Why inversion? Kwa sababu mwanzoni tulikuwa tuna rupture rate, and temperature inafanyaje? Ina increase or ina decrease with heat. Wakati kule unapofika nakuta temperature increase with heat. That's why you call it temperature inversion. So ni kama ime reverse the phenomena in the troposphere. Now let's move to mesosphere. Now this layer extends between 48 to 80 kilometers above the sea level. Mesosphere is the second part of homosphere, where temperature decreases as altitude increases. So unaona huku tena temperature ina decrease with the altitude. It is separated from stratosphere by the zone of separation called stratopause. The upper limit of mesosphere is called mesopause. So unaweza kuona hizo kwamba upper limit inakuwa ni jina la ile layer, then unaongeza pause. Mesosphere unaondoa sphere unaweka mesopause. So mesopause record minimum temperature of 0 that may fall to making this zone to be coldest. So in mesopause temperature inakuwa ni 0. In mesopause inakuwa 0. So unaweza kuona kuna decrease ya temperature kwenye troposphere, kuna increase ya temperature kwenye stratosphere, then kuna decrease tena temperature kwenye mesosphere. Unaweza kuona jinsi ambavyo vitu vinakuwa vinaenda. So the coldest zone in the atmosphere, it is mesosphere, or it is mesopause, because the mesopause is just the upper limit of mesosphere. So it is at this zone where strong upper air streams of wind like jet stream are experienced. So kwenye hii zone kuna upepo mkali zile ndege ambazo kusafiri masafa marefu, hii zone ndio ambayo inakuwa ina upepo mkali, very strong air streams zinakuwa ziko kwenye hiyo mesosphere. Now we have finished about homosphere. Let's move to heterosphere. It is the second layer of atmosphere which extends from 80 km towards the interplanetary space. Now heterosphere divided into two layers which include thermosphere and exosphere. So thermosphere is the lower part of heterosphere, where temperature increases as altitude increases from temperature inversion. So this phenomenon is called temperature inversion. When the temperature increases with altitude, it is called temperature inversion. So in thermosphere, temperature inversion tends to occur. As we know from the method part there, we have the zero temperature. So when we are moving to thermosphere, that means temperature tends to start from zero, then start to increase. This is because there is no water vapor or dust particles in this zone. In this zonolosphere consists of some ions which influence radio waves. So in this zone there is no water vapor, no dust, but in this zone we have just some of the electrons, or we have some of the ions which tend to influence the radio waves. This is because ionosphere is electrically charged with the free electrons that allow the passage of radio waves, television waves, and the telephone or mobile phone waves. So you can see kwamba tunapokuwa tuna different waves tunakuwa nazo mawimbi ya aina mbalimbali yanakuwa yanapita kwenye layer ambayo ni nini, ambayo ni thermosphere, yanakuwa yanapita kwenye layer kama hiyo hapo, layer ina free electrons which allow the passage of these waves. From there we have the exosphere is the part of heterosphere which is found above the thermosphere. It has a high temperature through it has little significance as it has not been greatly researched. So exosphere haijafanywa research sana, so it has little advantage. Note, within heterosphere there is also a scientific significant layer called ionosphere. Tumesema hii ionosphere ina consist of some ions which influence radio wave. Ionosphere is present in the heterosphere layer. So in the heterosphere we have ionosphere which tend to allow the passage of the radio wave. So ionosphere consists of some ions which influence radio waves. This is because ionosphere is electrically charged with free electrons that allow the passage of radio waves, television waves, and telephone or mobile phone waves. Now these are the layers of atmosphere. You can see this diagram tend to summarize the layers of atmosphere. Here we are starting with the troposphere, then we have stratosphere, we have mesosphere, from there we have thermosphere, and then exosphere. So as you can see, the location of different things in these layers. This marks the end of our session, and in the next session we will start discussing about the function of atmosphere, and then we will move to the next layers in the external structure of the earth, which is hydrosphere. Thank you everybody, and let me wish you nice studies. Thank you.